Hello, everybody. I'm Michael Monaco.
And I'm Bobby Salvesen. We are the Hazmat Guys, bringing you knowledge and insight to make your job a little bit easier and safer.
Let's take a minute to hear about today's sponsors.
Hey guys, Bobby from the Hazmat Guys here, and this episode is brought to you by FLIR Systems. If you're not sure about your white powder is fentanyl, or maybe you suspect that you have an explosive hazard, or you need to confirm that the leaking barrel is toxic, the FLIR Griffin G510 GCMS is your go-to for next-level on-scene chemical identification. Mounted in your vehicle or carried to the point of sample collection, it is always ready. Using the built-in touchscreen, start the method wizard to help you select the best method for the mission. If you have no time, no lab, it's no problem. You can quickly identify unknown chemicals with accuracy. To learn more, go to FLIR.com/G510, or that's FLIR, FLIR.com/G510.
Let's get to the show.
Hey everybody, welcome back to another episode of the Hazmat Guys, episode 212. 212. You guys have been with us
a long ass time.
I wouldn't be here.
I've been trying to get away from me for years.
I haven't been successful in that. I'm still going to work for it because I'm not a quitter. I'm just not a quitter, and I will get there. But yeah, so good stuff, man. We have a great episode. I'm kind of excited for this one.
Yeah, I like doing stuff like this. I like doing updates. I like talking about the things that we've done and, kind of the lessons that we're learning as we're going along.
Yeah. So we have a lot. I was actually just as we were preparing for the show, I was putting on our presentation times and dates for the WAMR, the Wisconsin Hazmat Conference that we are just now scheduled for. We also have, oh my God, I'm trying to do this off the top of my head. We have the Federal Resources Experience, which is in February.
Right.
That we are just finalizing the details for that. That is going to be a hazmat escape room that is driven into metering.
Yes. So, So here's what we'll catch you up really quick. If anyone didn't get to the couple conferences that we were at in the fall of 19, we debuted our escape room, which was a tremendous hit, and it was also a proof of concept. It was a way to see if we could engage people, and now we are taking that foundation and we're really adding a tremendous amount of meat to the bones to not only make it something that's fun, but a real awesome educational tool.
Yeah, we're in solid negotiations with Federal Resources and one other player to be named, I guess, once we have a little wink, wink, nod, nod with them as well. And then we can kind of break that news on here as well. But both of them are going to be incredible. Like, everybody's trying to get in to get their wares out there because it is truly a way of educating, like, specifically or generally. Like, we were doing it as a game. It was fun. Ha.
Right.
And now it's like, holy crap, you can actually give. I don't want to blow it up too much, but this can be something that is integrated into a technician level class or its own standalone refresher.
Right, yeah, for both technician and operations.
Either one you pick, we can make it for that. And I'm telling you, when you everybody loves their own wine. But but I will say, this is a pretty good one.
Okay.
And
I don't know of too many things held at conferences where people are like, "Hey, are you doing this after hours? Can we can we do this like at 8 o'clock? Like, will the room be open? Like, can you bring it back to your bedroom and we'll do it there?" And it's like okay, like we'll be doing it again tomorrow. Like,
totally,
it's really cool.
Yeah, it's some pretty cool stuff. I'm flipping through the calendar really quick just before we get going here. Do we have anything else come up? January, December, and February are kind of off, and then we have. I think the first one is going to be the Federal Resources one, and then you got the WAMR, the Wisconsin, and then we have maybe California, but I'm trying to find out about that one. And then we have Oregon. That's coming up in April.
Yes.
So
a lot of running around.
whew, man,
The
a lot of
spring,
stuff.
they cluster. Why do they cluster?
I don't know.
Hey guys, like spread your conferences apart.
It's better for me.
Like really? I mean, like I know I'm recently single, and it's cool and all, but Jesus.
Yeah,
All right.
Anywho.
Anyway,
So it's been the topic of today. Let's back that up to there. Is we're doing a laser methane update,
yes.
an operational discussion on what the laser methane meter can do for you. So it's been a few months that we've talked about this laser methane that we have in our house, and there's many more that are coming to market since the one we have gotten in our hands. And I'm not going to say they're better or worse, but they are different and they give you different capabilities. So we wanted to give an update and talk a little bit more about this in a tactical sense.
Yes. Yeah, and actually that kind of reminds me, we may not to get to all these situations that we want to tonight, but you just said something and I want to tie it in somewhere.
Okay.
Remind me later about the knowing where you're hitting.
Okay.
Because I don't think we're going to get to the one that I'm going to talk about that, but I still want to hit that point. So we'll chat later. But this is not an intro to the meter. Okay, we did a previous award nominated for Best Podcast on Emerging Technologies by a lot of guys Smith, which was episode 141, if I'm not mistaken.
That guy's incredible.
And I want to give a tremendous thank you to Mr. Smith for his constant role in our day-to-day lives.
Yeah, a lot of guys. He's
don't know what I'd do without you.
He has a lot of insightful and profound things to say about a lot of people and a lot of operations. A lot of guys, if you haven't talked to him, a lot of guys are talking.
A lot of
guys are saying about this, and so a lot of guys, hats off to you. It's incredible. And in this episode, we just want to chat a little bit about the runs we've had and the thoughts on it. So I'm gonna start this one off. I'm gonna kind of we're gonna do kind of an interview type style.
Yes, each other.
Each other. So I'm going to interview him for a main break in a street. Now, we've all had this. We've had some type of natural gas main, small, large, medium, low pressure, high pressure, whatever the hell it might be. But we've had one of these in the street, and we've been called for it for whatever our capacity is. So in this situation that we're going to talk about, where laser methane made the difference, paint the picture. What happened?
All right.
Here?
So for my scenario, I know we were talking before the show, and we've both had so many different main breaks. New York City's basically falling apart, for those that don't know. So the situation was that we got called to a block in, I want to say it was Queens or Brooklyn, and they had sectioned off the block, and somehow something had broke under the ground, and it was pouring out. As best as gas can pour out. You could smell it, so the gas hadn't been scrubbed out by the dirt like often happens. So
yes.
we knew that we had the methane. We couldn't hear anything. There was no sound. Usually high pressure mains, there's that there's something going on. Nothing. So this was pretty deep underground. And one of the first things we got on scene, and one of the first things they were saying was, hey, listen, the gas is coming from under this car, and we need to move these vehicles, blah, 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 blah. Okay, so that's a scenario that's happening when we get on scene. The first due units, if you would, had already started checking the surrounding houses and had evacuated those houses because there was gas readings in some of the houses. The gas in the houses did not have an odor. So there was conversation amongst residents I didn't smell anything. Why do I have to?
Right.
There's nothing in my house. So and it was low. It wasn't significantly high. It was, it wasn't infringing on anything. We were talking maybe 4 or 5% of the LEL. So that was the situation that we walked into.
All right, so you said a couple of things there, and I think you're going to come to them in this part, is that was it inside or outside? And the things I'm kind of tracking back to is you mentioned that it wasn't scrubbed out, right? And they weren't smelling it on the inside. So my question to you are, did they have readings on the inside? And what exactly are you talking about when you say scrubbed out?
Okay, so for those that are unfamiliar with methyl mercaptan, it's the product that's put into natural gas and propane and butane and pretty much any of these common gases. It's what gives it the nasty smell. It has an odor threshold down way lower than the parts per billion, or parts per million into the parts per billion.
It's parts per billion, yeah.
Yeah, it's like, and I don't even mean like high parts per billion, like low parts per billion. So normally it's in all natural gas that is being distributed to the final customer. You can have natural gas that is not been odorized, that is generally labeled non-odorized for that reason. And this was odorized. And there is a tendency when you have natural gas pushing its way through soil, that methyl mercaptan for some reason stays behind. I don't know what the science is behind it, to be very honest with you. All I know is that there are times we arrive on scene, the break is underground, our meters are going nuts, and you can't smell anything, even from the beginning. So right away, that kind of clued us in a little bit that there was either a tremendous amount of product coming out of this pipe and more mercaptan was getting through than was being scrubbed. Which kind of makes sense because then the stuff that was seeping into the houses had been through a lot more soil, so there wasn't that high of readings. In the street we were getting readings. We were getting about 10 to 20% of the LEL, depending on where the wind blew and how far you were. Remember, we don't have a solid break, right? We just have like this generalized smell of natural gas in the street, and the chiefs have determined where it's leaking from. I'm not quite sure what made them determine those spots, but they determined that it was leaking from certain spots. So I'll focus first on the outside operations. Them wanting to move those vehicles was where they were going to start to dig, and they had isolated certain areas and not isolated other areas. So real quick, within a matter of moments, we were able to take that laser methane detector outside and scan it across the street. And as we kind of scanned it across the street, we were getting higher readings and lower readings, higher readings and lower readings. And based upon that kind of curve, we were able to figure out in one direction where our highest reading was. And then we took about a 50-degree stance, did the same thing, got another directional line, and we were able to determine multiple leak points that were nowhere near where the chiefs thought it was leaking from. They thought it was leaking from under cars. There were operations in effect to pull the cars out from those spots, and they would have ended up actually putting the vehicles on top of where it was leaking. And this... Good.
So you use the meter to triangulate.
We used the meter to triangulate, yeah. We basically made an imaginary line at the highest readings everywhere we went. So I think in this spot there were 3 separate places that it was coming up through cracks in the asphalt. And we got 3 separate spikes as we moved from left to right. And then we changed our angle. We got 3 separate spikes again, and we kind of figured out where those lines crossed. And we were able to determine very well where the leaks were coming from. And when we went over to those leaks, we were getting 50 to 60% of the LEL. That's how much product was coming out.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's how you figure out what's going on the outside.
That's how we figured out what was going on the outside. With the inside, we ended up being able to, there was, 15 houses on each side of the street. and there were a decent amount of units there, but we were able to, hazmat, our company, with the laser methane, was able to sweep the houses and determine that they were free of methane after the leak had been stopped, before all the other companies with their single gas meters were able to do all the houses on their side. And we were able to do that because we didn't have to actually enter every single room in the house. So we literally would walk in, and as we were walking around, we were sweeping the laser methane in all the different rooms, and we were able to pull down attic stairs, sweep the attic without ever having to go up there. We were able to get into the basement, do full basement sweeps without ever having to go in there. So literally, we swept the house and cleared it in a matter of 2-3 minutes, as fast as we could walk through the house. We were able to clear it. So it was an interesting comparison to the company with the CAD bead sensor that literally had to walk through every single room in the house in different spots to determine that it was completely free.
Right. So this meter that we're talking about, and again, go back to 141, but this is not a point specific meter. Right, which is what the I'll say it, G-pop trucks have, right?
Yes.
The general population trucks have regular standard meters, but this new one allows us to shoot for our particular meter, it goes 100 feet. So if I'm within 100 feet of a bank-off wall, we'll say, I can test it is the presence or not presence of methane. And so if you open the door and you go, "Hey, ma'am, how are you? Can I just take a check of your apartment?" She goes, "Yeah, sure." And you swing it around like a dead cat swinging around your head. If it beeps, you got gas. And then you go in with your regular G-pop meter.
Right. Yeah, that is a key. And we didn't do that because we got no readings. But had we gotten readings, we had a CAD bead sensor with us that we then would have investigated that room more or investigated that basement more and found out what the actual readings were.
Hey guys, you've heard us talk about First Line Technologies, Dahlgren Decon Solution, and their FiberTech wipes and mitts. Well, they've had a lot of their customers ask them to provide in-depth training on using Dahlgren Decon, FiberTech wipes, as well as their various kits, and now they've created a First Line Utilization Academy to deliver the range of classes designed to improve their students' knowledge of hybrid decontamination. They have a special comprehensive Train the Trainer course designed to prepare trainers and hazmat team leaders to return to their organizations and conduct training. The participants in this course will receive a template lesson plan, a presentation they can use to train their teams, and a quick reference book they can use in the field. Now, class size for the Train the Trainer class is limited to 6 to 8 participants, and classes fill up fast, so reserve your desired training date today. They will also conduct customized on-site classes to entire teams to give everybody both classroom instruction and hands-on experience in using Dahlgren Decon and FiberTech wipes for hybrid decontamination. Call the guys at First Line Technology for more information or to register for a class at 703-955-7510 or email them at training@firstlinetech.com. All right, let's pick up where we left off. If you don't mind, I'm just going to take a quick departure just to bring people up. I know we're not spending a lot of time on what we've already done, but this meter will tell us presence or no presence. It's a hot-cold game.
Yes.
That's it. Right? And so, yeah, it's hot. We have some stuff over there. We go back to our regular meters. Our regular meters tell us real numbers. And based on those real numbers, we go real tactics.
Right.
We don't make tactical decisions based on this meter. It is not a smart move, and I'm not giving you your SOGs. I'm just saying we don't do it. It is a very sound, and I subscribe fully to the reason why we do not use it. Can you use it? Oh, well, it's beep, beep, beep slower. That means my operation's improving. Fine. I can verify tactics.
Right. I can determine whether or not what I'm doing is working.
Yeah. But I'm not making tactical decisions like, oh, hotline is here. We're going to make entry. We're going to shelter. No. That's not for this meter.
No, that has to be done with a CAD bead.
Yeah. So, okay.
So the meter really changed our time frame in our operation, and it allowed us to do a lot more with a lot less. And I know this is not a big deal for the New York City Fire Department, right? I think, Jesus, we must have had 50 firefighters on scene,
Right.
right? But this is a really big deal for small departments and people with very limited manpower. We were able to do a tremendous amount of work with one company, one entry team, and one meter that way surpassed what a bunch of people with a CAD bead meter could do.
Right. Absolutely. And so do you think that this meter in this situation was a benefit or not?
I absolutely think this meter was a benefit.
Okay.
It in two regards. One, it allowed us to finish our operation faster, and two, it allowed us to pinpoint very, very accurately where the leaks were coming from, so we could isolate those areas and make sure that if a vehicle had to get through, they were avoiding those spots. If we were going to move things around, that guys weren't stepping where the leaks were coming from, because as we know, there is always an LEL somewhere, right? And so right at the pavement, there could have been an explosive range. It allowed us to operate safer.
I love it. I love it.
So, all right, my turn.
Okay.
All right. You had a run in which a man was barricaded in his house. Am I getting that right?
I will say full disclosure, I was driving that day, so I didn't get to go up and in there, but we brought together the eyewitness accounts, we'll say.
Yes. Yeah.
Of a multitude of people that were on scene, and this is their story. Dun dun
Dun dun.
Right, that's the Law and Order.
Dun. Yeah.
Dun dun. Right.
All right. So what was the situation?
All right. So here's the deal. It was in Queens, and the apartment that is in question. Now, there's a person that was barricaded in there, and it was a basement apartment, and he basically barricaded himself in there with his wife, and there was definitely some type of mental issue. He basically had a nervous breakdown, we'll say. Right.
Okay.
So
understandable.
Right. His wife's in there. So he's in the basement, and he turned on the stove in the basement. But he didn't light it. He turned it on.
Oh, like he filled the basement through the stove.
He was attempting to, right?
Okay.
And so he's got the gas thing on there. The older ones don't have a shutoff, and so basically the gas is flowing inside the place. And we were actually called to support the police. We were called there actually to evaluate the possibility of an explosive range before police make their entry. Right? So now they're going to make their entry, going to grab this guy, and they're like, this guy's filling up the place with gas. Is this dangerous or not? And they called us to do it, which I'll be honest with you, I was kind of surprised. They usually like to keep their stuff in-house.
Right.
However, it was a little bit of a homage, if I would say, yeah, listen, we'll handle the gun work, and you handle the meters, which is totally cool with me because we're good at it.
Yeah.
We're good at the gun stuff.
They got the
I'm
guns,
not.
and we've got the meters. And as long as we're
can
not
work
playing
together.
Operation Human Shield,
Yeah.
then we're good.
I'm totally cool with that.
All right. So was this operation inside or outside?
Okay, so the event was inside, but all the units were outside. And there was like really no way to get close enough with a meter to make a real reading without the EDP, right, which is what we call an emotionally disturbed person, without the guy inside knowing. So now the problem is there was blinds on the window, right? So if I take my laser methane meter and I shoot it through there, when it hits the blinds, maybe an inch or two in the window, it's getting a reading from an inch or two, right? So now the rangefinder on our particular model has a rangefinder, right? So I shoot, let's say, the wall, the actual like siding that's to the right or the left of the window, right? And it says 23 meters Okay, great. And I move it to the window, and it says 23.1 meters.
It's not very far.
I'm not really going that far, and I might not be going in there. So I might either have e-glass, which is, the glass that's energy has coatings on it,
Right.
which means it's basically like it bounces right off the thing, or is it really just hitting the blinds and coming back? So this is a very important thing because the window, it was actually shaped as a bump out, right? So it was like a bow window,
Like a U shape with the big window in the middle and the two little
Yeah.
windows on the side. Gotcha.
Yeah. So there was like 3 feet from the window to the blind.
That's a significant pocket.
And with that significant pocket, I would be a little more comfortable saying this is representative of the room, right? Okay, so the cops come up, they take out all the windows and the blinds, and they're able to meter from a distance the rooms on the first floor, right? So they had like wands, they opened it up, there was no readings, which, okay, because methane goes up. I'm okay with this so far. I'm kind of reading this. During this time, the PD is shutting off the gas main to the house with a robot.
Ooh.
Because robots are cool.
And they don't die when you shoot them.
And
Well,
I'm like,
they do, but
do you really need it? Whatever. I like the robot thing. It was cool, but I don't know if you really needed the robot. Anywho, so the gas is shut down. There's no readings on the first floor. The time to get the guy is, he was seen on the first floor, and the PD made the entry to get the guy. Right, so they're now storming the house, and when they get to make the entry, they wore a 4-gas meter, like the standard confined space MSA Altair 4X, whatever model you have, a 4-gas meter that was clipped on their uniforms, and they all went in and made entry with that.
which makes total sense when we think about what you said before, is that this is a present, not present meter, not a I'm going to make tactical decisions off of.
Yes.
So they went in with the meter to continue to make tactical decisions, and they felt comfortable making entry because of the go no go with the laser.
Right, and so I know it as well as they know it. If their objective is to get this guy, they are going to be focused on that, and that meter beeping may play into their consciousness, but I think they're going to have, in a fire terms, they're going to be like, I'm going to push a little further.
Right.
Things beeping, I'm going to keep going because I'm right here. And so they might be, again, I'm not a cop. I've never been a cop, but I can guess what they're doing because I've been in those positions where, like, all right, I know there's a danger zone here, and I just passed it. But however,
Right.
you know,
I'm only going a foot away. If I go another 2 feet, maybe there's a kid
what's
there.
the difference? Yeah, exactly. So I'll make the push, and so I think the 4-gas was a good move.
All right. So if we didn't have that laser methane, what do you think the procedure would have been? What would we have done to ensure that it was safe for them to go in?
All right, so let's pretend that the laser methane wasn't there and that they called us there to do the same thing, but we didn't have the laser methane. They would have brought their same 4-gas meter.
Right.
But it would have been a lot more tricky to try to get close enough to try to get to the building to get an air sample, right? With the laser, we're actually able to shoot through the window, not letting anybody know that we're there. And I'm not saying that I'm going to do it from, like, you know, Keanu Reeves standing right outside the window and shooting. I could do this from across the street in my relative safety. You know, like, hey, I'm good over here.
Yeah,
you know,
300 feet.
Yeah, so like that. What they typically do is they'll drill a small hole through the window. And again, I'm not telling you what they do because I know this is what I heard. They'll drill a small hole through the wall, and they will place a probe into the interior airspace of the house and take meter readings through the wall. That's pretty cool, but like, how quiet are you going to be?
Right.
Yeah, whatever. So.
All right. So, how did having that meter change that operations?
Yeah. So when when they finally rushed to the top part, there was shots fired, right? So there was pop, pop, boo, wow, it was crazy. And luckily, and I'm very happy to say that nobody on our side was injured on that. But they were able to give us readings. I mean, on the first floor, that it was clear and everything like that. It made their entry more effective. It made it
Because they weren't thinking about the dangers of the natural gas.
Yeah, like all right, let's say we had to drill the hole. There's always is it below the meter? Is it flatter than I have my meter hole? Am I estimating the floor height right? Because the floors are never right. Like, I'm eyeballing it from outside and I say, okay, the windowsill is this, and a standard windowsill is 28 to 32 inches above the floor. So let me go 28 down, and that's all crap. That's all conjecture. It's all guesstimates. When you have a laser methane, and I'm reading definitively inside what's going on from 20, 30, 50 feet, 100 feet away, that's good. And then only thing that is their 4-gas meter that's clipped to them is supplementing that information to make it a better operation. It's a win. I honestly, if I was them, I would be very happy to have this thing on my side.
So you would agree that the meter benefited the overall outcome of the run?
Yeah, I would say, all right, so there's two clear benefits, right? The first is we had a clear indication that there's presence or no presence of natural gas in the basement, but not in the first floor, right? So that gave us a tactical advantage to know where the leak is originating, where it has to be shut down, and the effect of the shutdown on the house, right? And it allowed units to maintain a safe distance from that house, and just in case it's turned into a little bit more of a Jason Bourne type operation where the guy's jamming a magazine to the toaster oven and trying to blow the place up. We don't know. Maybe he's seen the movie. I've seen the movie. I know what's going to happen.
Yeah, he lights the cigarette, turns on the stove, lights the cigarette, and the whole place explodes.
And he has time to walk in a very big swagger out to that car and then give the over-the-shoulder look before he departs. It's just a tremendous cameo, and we were there to
It's a beautiful scene. It's a beautiful scene.
Bring a tear to a glass eye.
So while we're pushing this laser methane, and we are pushing the concept of laser methane, we are in no way, shape, or form, pushing a specific meter. I will say this, and I was interviewing some of the guys in the firehouse, and they all came to the same conclusion. The meter that we have basically almost looks like your rat alert, right? For those of you that have a rat alert, it almost looks like a big cell phone. We'll leave it at that. I have, and it shoots out a laser so you can see where you're pointing. And during the day, it is very difficult to see that laser. And it is very difficult to get a good, solid idea of what it is that you're pointing at during the day. Me and Bob have played with meters that have screens, almost like a thermal imaging camera, and you get a lot better accuracy during the day when you cannot see that dot. So just some food for thought if you go out there and you're searching for this.
Yeah.
Well, that wraps up another episode of the Hazmat Guys.
You can find us on Facebook, Twitter, and our YouTube channel at The Hazmat Guys, and take a moment to call our comment hotline at 843-628-1484.
And we are always looking forward to your feedback about information or interesting incidents that you were a part of, so send us a note at feedback@thehazmatguys.com.
Remember, guys, don't just get on the job, get into the job.